I didn't realize it went into that remix about 30 seconds in. It started going, whoa, that's a new one. That's a new one. All right. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. This is a recorded show, live to us, recorded for you. I hate it for you. But thanks for watching the Bobby Dizzle podcast. Be sure to subscribe and share. We just hit 200 subs right before this was recorded, which may be 3 weeks ago, it may be 4 days. Only 909,800 left.
Yes.
To the big goal. And so check out bobbydizzle.com for all ways to follow, listen, and watch. Enough about me. We're joined by Nikki Colon, host of Hairy Man Hoaxes and Hoodwinks on YouTube. It's a very funny and informative channel. Lots of sound effects I just learned about, but they also feature deep rabbit holes and very interesting guests. You got some killer guests on there. I looked around. Nikki's been a cryptid and Bigfoot fan since she lived in South Korea, not to be confused with North Korea. Yes. So you, like myself, have never had an encounter, but you believe, and Bigfoot's my favorite subject, so this will be fun. Why do you think that Bigfoot is real? I was going to start with that, but because you like to believe just like me, so I just want to start off there.
Well, I probably have the same story that a lot of people do. Is I grew up loving the cryptids, and reading the books and seeing the shows, and
the books
it always grew on me, but I wasn't like. I didn't know there was anything like, squatching or going out and looking for these things. And it wasn't until much later in my life that I had nothing to do in South Korea. They wouldn't let me work, and, sitting with nothing but, I think, 9 channels, American channels. So I went to YouTube to watch, to just scour that. And once I really found the Bigfoot stuff, I just watched everything out there, and really dug deep. And before I knew it, we were back home and I had a lot of knowledge about certain things, because the one thing that I hated was that every time I'd go on to YouTube, there was the same things popping up over and over. Facebook, same thing. Same picture was popping up over and over that had been already scrutinized and debunked. And but they were playing it off as, oh, I just found this, this just came out. It's a new trail cam picture. Well, oh, sorry, that was 5 years ago. And
what about that gorilla that was supposed to be below? They kept saying it was below the deer feeder, but it was just a gorilla in a cage.
Oh,
it was kind of dark and shady. See his eyes. I'm like, this was in a deer feeder in Kentucky. I'm like, no, man, that was debunked 15 years ago.
Are you talking about Oliver, the humanzee? You're probably talking about Oliver.
Yeah, it's a chimp. It's a chimp.
Yeah. He's like just a chimp. He does look weird. He did, have a little bit of strangeness to him, but when they did the DNA testing on him, he was just a chimp.
That's going around a bunch I've seen.
Oh, for sure.
The newest one is that one in Canada out in the lake. The red one that runs. Yep. I kind of like that one. Me and Anthony were talking about him earlier. He sent that to me. He goes, "This is real. It's huge." I'm like, It's got the gate down. It's got the patty arms.
Yeah, no, it's really, they already found the guy who put that out there, and they've the Bigfoot community kind of thinks it's already been debunked and that it's just a hoax. And also many people are taking it and flipping the video so that it doesn't look the way it was originally. And if you do look at the original one, you can see the wake where the guy was already had turned around from the lake. So it, he wasn't just going by it when that happened.
Dropped the guy off.
Yeah. There's already, you can see the motion. And so there was a lot of red flags for that, and everybody else thought so too.
I'm too optimistic.
Yeah. And
that, far enough away, maybe it scared it.
Well, so many years has made me quite the skeptic, but I do still believe. I believe because I believe in people who have told me their stories that are friends, who have encountered these things right up in their faces.
Hmm.
So that's what makes me a believer. I'm an evidence skeptic, and so it's real hard for me to believe a lot of the stuff that's put out there. But that's really not what my channel came about, just to
No.
show people what's out there and to show that you, with very little effort, you can discover the backstories to a lot of these pictures and videos that have been put out. And I don't just go after people to call them hoaxers or anything like that. That's not what my intention was. It was more to uh, inform and educate the newbies, because you
Hmm.
get all these pictures that are out there over and over, and the new people are coming in and thinking it's just grand. That's wonderful.
Hmm.
That's the best photo ever. And you're like, nope, that's a student film from 2007, whatever,
Yep.
So that's where my channel came about. But
Hmm.
I have a lot of fun on my show. I keep
You
it
do really.
lighthearted.
I was
Yeah.
surprised. Like this is entertaining.
That's my goal. I don't want to be like the other shows. I like to consider myself kind of like the variety Bigfoot show. I,
Hmm.
segment it up, and I don't want to lose viewers because we're talking about the same dang thing over and over again.
The same
It's
blob squatch,
Yeah, I do a
same
little
red
bit of
circle.
my main topic, whatever I pick, and then my second half is, checking into the news and looking at pictures people have sent me in, and a lot of other stuff. But I think people like that kind of variety.
You know what frustrates me is not necessarily hoaxers, because hoaxers not hoax. I mean, it's
Right,
those guys are out there. They have a good time. But
right, right.
what gets me is the people you've met them on your show. I'm not sure how long you've been doing it. It's probably longer than me as far as the seriousness of it. But I know you met the guys who you're like, these guys aren't lying. They saw something and they're telling me the truth, and they don't do crystal meth or any kind of barbiturate.
Yeah,
And so it's either real or they're just completely insane, and you know they're not insane. So
right.
they give you the verbal evidence, usually verbal,
Hmm.
because it's hard, as you know, it's hard to get the actual hard evidence. But they saw one, they saw on the property, they saw feet, they had the mind. Can I say the F word with you?
Sure,
I don't.
absolutely.
I don't want to offend you. I
You
know
must
it's
have
my
not
channel.
watched all my shows.
Yeah. Well, I was at work, so it was back and forth. So I was gonna say I don't want to offend you
I'm
first
kidding.
10 minutes in, but I call it the Bigfoot mind fuckery.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
They have all the telltale non, hard evidence sign,
yeah.
and then you go to their page and they post these shit out of blob swatches. I'm like, have you learned nothing? That makes me so mad. They're not hoaxing. I think
Hmm.
whenever you get like this encounter that's real, you want to share it with everybody, and it doesn't matter what the value of it is. I'm like, some of it is not a Bigfoot. Some of the tree structures are not a big. Wind exists around big. I mean, I've lived in. I grew up in the woods of North Alabama, and the stuff they
Hmm.
call tree structures, I've seen all the time. Other than the teepees built by hippies in like national parks,
Right,
but
right.
it's just that's the most frustrating thing, because it waters down any kind of thing that may be valid. Like the stories alone for me got me. I mean,
Hmm.
if it's consistent enough across the board, maybe not scientifically enough consistent that you can't get a picture of them for whatever reason, and they
Hmm.
consistently knock out the power and ruin SD cards and just across the board. But so I think that's evidence enough for me. It's consistent.
Hmm.
Maybe it's like a negative consistency, but it's consistency nonetheless.
Well, it definitely got me hooked to the stories in the
Hmm.
beginning. But, I've been around so long that they they're sounding all the same to me.
Yes.
So I needed more. I felt myself needing more answers to why people were coming up with, this is a Bigfoot. What is track? Why is that a Bigfoot track? Did you see them put that track there? Did you see them walk and do
Yep.
that? Um, the same with the structures. Did you see one making that structure? It's all, for me. I started doing the whole, and people hate this, critical thinking. I want to know more, and that's what, the side I kind of lean towards is, I do believe it's just a flesh and blood out there, and it's very elusive, and it's falls somewhere on that evolutionary ladder. I don't know
Hmm.
where, and for me, I really don't like to speculate because we don't know. Those answers are going to come if we ever find one, and unfortunately, it'll be, you know, a dead one
Yeah.
that we
If we
can
haven't already,
look
the government doesn't scoop them up.
at. That's another possibility. I don't know if they do or not, but I like to know the truth, and
Hmm.
I don't think, a lot of it is out there. I for sure know that there's a lot of hoodwinking going on, a lot of
Oh yeah,
hoodwinking.
not too
So,
much to be honest.
yeah, and that spoils it kind of for a lot of people. Some people don't like it that, I point out these things, but a lot do. So, as long
Hmm.
as I have some people on my side, I'm going to keep on, pointing things out and letting people make up their own minds. I by no means, telling people what to do. I have an opinion and I decided to let people know about it.
I I have
So,
I don't say a bad habit. I say maybe a duty when I go through these Bigfoot groups to tell people when what they're circling is not. I mean,
mhm,
something I've experienced 100 times growing up in the woods. I'm like, dude, that's not a Bigfoot. That's not a dog man in that cedar tree. That's a
mhm,
tree
it's
or
just true.
any like that. And I had one guy send me a tape of owls. I'm like, dude, those are owls. No, it's a Bigfoot making an owl sound. I'm like, how the hell
Oh my
did you?
god, I hate that. That is the
I,
worst. I hate.
I was just
Ugh,
really nice. I'm like, sir, those are owls. He goes, no, it's a Bigfoot making the sound. Like that's not gonna hold water
no.
in any skeptical court.
Yep. It, at all in anywhere. I you shouldn't we've always discussed this on my show and other shows that I'm on, that if you're a researcher, boots on the ground, and you're going out there in the woods, the number one thing you should be doing is learning the existing animals in the area. You need to know your area and what it contains and what they sound like. And I'm sorry, I've heard all of the coyote sounds. Well, I bet you haven't. I bet you they've already recorded over 1,000 big coyote sounds, but I bet you they only have half of that recorded.
Hmm.
So there's no way you could possibly know all the sounds that I lived there all my life. I don't care. You can't possibly know all the sounds
Yeah,
of all the
unless you're
animals.
around animals all the time, they make different. Like picture a chicken. Chicken make
Mhm.
noises people never heard before,
Yeah. Well,
and
I had
people
one.
like,
I'm trying to think. One person kept saying, "Well, it's clicking rocks. It's clicking rocks." And I sent her a picture of a chipmunk, audio of a chipmunk. They make a clicking sound with their
mhm,
mouth
squirrels.
and sound exactly what and I never heard from her again. But it you just need that reasonable doubt. Just like a court. There's reasonable doubt. I'm sorry.
I think you should be
And
aggressive with it too. Like
so
almost lean on reasonable doubt.
yeah. So then my next show was on animal sounds. So we had a whole show of just doing woodpeckers and owls and chipmunks and everything, and just letting people hear, there's different things out there. And I mean,
It's just
I
people that
don't know.
grow up like say like in the suburbs and they think they've been outside, but it's really just a nature trail.
Yeah.
So when they get out in real woods, they start hearing stuff like, what was that? I've never heard that on TLC. That's bad. Our Animal Planet. TLC is a bad example. TLC would have been a better example in '94, but so
Nah.
I never heard a squirrel make that noise. Well, they do. Squirrels make noise. Deer make noise. They all make noise, and they just get out
Right.
there and they hear things and they see things. And well, it's got to be a Bigfoot because what yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Just frustrates me to death. I'm like, you're ruining this for everybody. It's nobody's gonna take it seriously if you keep posting this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think
And
there's a way, even with ghosts, to scientifically study it. Even if you're just really loose at first, you dialed it in. Sorry about that.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree. Unfortunately, I think it's going to keep going this way for a
Yeah,
while. I know there are a lot of hardcore researchers out there that are doing a good job. Um,
they're trying.
but yeah, but the evidence still isn't there. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna take a body, in my opinion. It
Yeah,
just
that's it. You're not going to get a picture of it because look at what's the Igor Bertstiff.
oh my
What's
god,
his name?
yeah, Bert
Bertstiff.
stuff. Yeah,
I just
yeah.
found out about him last week. I don't know where I've been.
Oh, yeah, he has his Bigfoot driving a tractor and a
Yeah, in a
car and
car. A
all kinds of
Studebaker.
stuff. Calls him on the phone. Yeah, it's
Dude,
ridiculous.
I watched that.
It's
He called it on the phone. I'm like, is this serious right now? Is this
yeah,
like if he
it's
can be on the phone,
ridiculous.
why can't you take a video of him? Why can't the guy walk up to him with a camera
Mhm.
in
Yeah,
Russia? I mean, we'll take a Russian camera. I don't mind them.
it's
I'm sure they have
pretty.
them.
For me, it seems insane, but you know, I hope people question that. If he must have followers though, so but I've kind of ignored that.
It's it's almost as worrisome as those the women who are mediums, claim to be psychic mediums,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all kind of in their late 40s, and like they're all quasi attractive, and that's part of their shtick. And they always talk about ugly crying and meeting the dead grandma, and
Oh,
then
how
Granny
funny.
says hi, and it's like it's the same thing. Like, well, there's evidence of it, but it's not. I'm not going to say it's not real. I mean, cold reading is false, but the Igor thing, there's no way to prove it. What are you going to go to Russia? No one can prove. No one can prove him wrong.
Oh,
And I've got Miss Robin
no, it's
McCrae
just
on in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to ask her about that. I know you've heard of her, haven't you? The
she's
Igor's buddy.
the I'm trying to remember what she looks like. I can't remember. I've heard the name though. I know.
Yeah, she's like Igor's American liaison.
Okay.
She seems really nice. Apparently, he's lived with
I'm
Bigfoot
trying
for a
to
long time.
Okay.
Yeah,
What do you say to that? There's a lot of people who say, yeah, they came by and,
I
said
just wish
hi
they would
and
get a picture. Just do something. Get.
whatever. Well, they don't like that. They don't
I,
like
kn-
when you take
I
pictures of
know.
them, so I don't do it.
Is this gonna be our vent sesh? Because I've wanted to vent this to somebody. I want, even though as much as I really believe a lot of these guys, I want to vent like some of the extemporaneous things they give me. I'm like, dude, that's not even, that's a stick. That's or the
Oh, yeah,
one
I
of my
know.
favorite guys in the world, Randy Bauer from Minnesota. He now he has a lot of good evidence, but then sometimes he'll post something like, Randy, why did you post that? That's not. First of all, it's not evidence, and that's clearly a deer hair. And I hope he doesn't listen to this because I really want to go visit him up there, even though it's a million miles from here. I
It
just don't.
I know. It takes a lot. I mean, you get scrutinized. You can't say practically anything online anymore without you're being a troll. You're not forming to our guidelines of being nice or whatever.
You know, we believe
So
everyone, and we don't scrutinize anything. We're never going to get anywhere, anywhere.
everybody can say whatever they want. Well, sorry. If you want them to post crap,
Quit
I
giving
don't
these
think
people who are
it's
borderline on the spectrum a smartphone and taking pictures of the woods.
yeah.
Saying, "What do you think this is?" I think it's a moth. I think you took a picture of the woods at night and you saw a dark circle because it's night,
Yeah.
or a
Yeah, I
tree and
know. It's pretty rough. The majority of the people who are out there are harmless and they're
Mhm,
just maybe wanting attention or whatever. And then you have like Rick Dyer and
mhm.
he's the true hoaxer. He's an admitted hoaxer and I got a lot of flack from a lot of people for having him on my show twice. But I needed people to see what kind of person that was. and he has no remorse. He doesn't care what he's done to the community. He doesn't care that he's stole thousands of dollars, you know, that he was able to convince people to just give him money.
Which one was he? What did he do? Was
Uh,
he the Bigfoot head guy?
Rick Dyer's the one who
I'll look him up.
had the Bigfoot in the freezer hoax in
Oh yeah. Oh, never
2008.
mind. Never mind. I know.
Yeah, the
I'm
Georgia
back.
Boys. And then in 2012 to 14, he had Hank, the Bigfoot that he took on the road and toured around
Yeah, I
with it.
remember. I remember the freezer turned out to be a
Yeah.
possum hair.
Yeah. It was possum guts and cow, horse jaw flipped with the cow tongue and the goat balls. And yeah, it had all
I can't.
kinds of pieces and parts.
I can't believe. Like I remember when I found out about it. That was like right at the cusp of the internet being something you could use all the time.
Right.
Like 2000. What was that? 2004,
Eight
2005. Right about the time I
was
graduated college.
mm,
Say 8.
8 was the hoax.
Okay, that checks
And
out.
he really wasn't. Yeah, before that, he claims that that was his first time in the field, and because he really wasn't a Bigfooter or anything, he was just they were just out there in the woods and came across the dead body.
Hmm.
That behind closed doors, he confessed to me that there was not even that there was nothing. That the whole thing was a sham.
Did
But
he make money
he
from
never
that?
was that.
Did he make money from that? Like
Oh yeah,
endorsements? Sort of?
he cleared around 80,000 on his first hoax, and he cleared 180,000 on his second.
And no one took him like civil court or anything.
No, no, not at all. He could have gotten something, a charge in the first one if Tom Biscardi had charged him with the hoax, with fraud, but Tom Biscardi was in on it, so he would have gotten himself in trouble. So nothing became of that.
So a little wrinkle in the plan.
Hmm.
I
For
remember
sure.
there was that one, and my cousin's wife at the time knew I liked Bigfoot, like randomly. So she brought it up to me and said, "You ever heard about that?" I'm like, "No, I haven't heard about a Bigfoot in a freezer." And I looked it
Uh,
up. I'm like, "Son of a bitch!" And I'm like,
yeah.
"There's no way it's real, but I'll stay. I'm going to track this story." There was no way to.
Yeah, it was big. It was really big. He was known around the world. He had interviews all the way from Japan and China and Thailand. Australia did several interviews with him. He was all over.
I don't know if I could sleep at night. I mean, the only thing anybody's got to do is break in and get in your freezer. Like that
Well,
ship could sink at any minute. I guess if you're already that deep in it.
yeah.
Yeah, like 90% of the stuff out there is just people throwing spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks. Like any and
Yeah,
all,
for sure.
evidence. It's like harmless evidence. I think it's
Right.
too much noise pollution. Like a squelch on a CB radio. I think it's too much. I wish there would be some kind of rule like this has to have some kind of. But you can't because people will be like, well, "You're judging. You're experts." I'm like, no one's an expert in something with 0% evidence. But then you got people that like Igor that post like a picture of, one of the Oak Ridge boys out there. Um, and then you got Todd Standing, who
Ugh.
that's another. What do you think of Todd Standing? Like that, we know it's fake, but like that guy went a little longer than the
Well,
other
a
guys.
lot of people, their feelings are is that maybe he did see something at one time,
Mm-hmm.
and he
I've heard
needed
that.
to recreate something, to keep it up and to get his Discovery Bigfoot scene and all this stuff. But I mean, there's way too many red flags, in my opinion, way too many red flags for people to assume that standings, videos, or pictures are real. If it was just one little thing, okay, maybe, but it's not. He doesn't have footage before and after the Muppet Show. He doesn't have anything um to show his backing that up or the metadata for that. None of it. Anything. And anytime anybody's gone and who was it? Somebody was able to get one of the pictures and check the metadata, and it had alterations in it. There had been some, CGI photoshopping going on in it. And then, I mean, they found gorilla hands in the back of his little Forerunner or whatever it was. And then he put, what do you call it? Wanted thing for actors in the newspaper. They have that. And then he had 2 production companies. He had the means. Maybe he had good intentions. I don't know, to help protect them. I don't know. But it to me, it's just too many red flags. I don't have the hard evidence. I can't call him out or do anything. I can just say, well, we know this, we know this, we know this. Make your own mind. If you like it, you like them. I can't sway you either way other than to let you have the facts. And that's about it. The same goes for Sasquatch Ontario. The same thing goes for whoever. I could go down the line on a bunch of folks, but it's up to the individual to see those red flags and decide to move on. That's all you can do is move on to the next.
It's almost like if it's too good, you're like, wait a minute, how'd you get that? And no one else did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you called it the Muppet Show.
But he has never repeated it. Why would he not repeat something like that? If you were able to do that, don't you think you would want to do it again? And no, it hasn't happened. So I don't know. It's weird. It's just too weird.
Too easy too.
Yeah.
You're not the first time I've heard about someone say that he probably had a real encounter, maybe one time, and just maybe got addicted to it.
We know he goes out there. He's in that Nordic area. It's a huge area for sightings. We know that. We know he really is boots on the ground. He does go out there, and he's had videos of that. So we know that he has gone out there. But as far as the evidence or capturing something on film, and in my opinion, no. So, but that's all I got. I don't have the proof. Nobody really will. All we can do is say, well, look at this. Look at this. How come there's not more of this? So
you should talk to I had a guy on who I happened to I scour the comments for guests and whatnot. People that say I had some kind of encounter. In 1982, he saw one kill a deer with its hands. Like, how do you just say that? Like, I had him on here. That dude wasn't lying, unless he's just totally insane. But
they've got to eat. They're gonna eat that, So I could see it happening. I mean,
said it broke its neck like a chicken.
Yeah, it just falls under that encounters. It's an encounter. It's a story, and although a lot of people love the stories, there's some people who are done with the stories, and okay, I've heard that before. So
it's interesting. You said they all started to sound the same, and the ones that feel credible, just feel it. They all do sound the same. Some of the ones that aren't are just some guy in a camo hat. They
yeah, it's okay. I'm not. A lot of people in the community love to go and watch all these encounter shows, and that's fine. I'm not dogging them for any reason. That's how I started too. I'm just saying that after 12 years, I'm more than ready to move on to talk about other things, and that's why I'm at where I'm at.
But you're you said you are flesh and blood.
Yeah.
Do you dabble in any of the portals and the no clipping?
No.
I'm a big fan of that.
Well, listen, I believe in the paranormal. I've had my own experiences, but I don't cross the two together. I'm not saying that one, if it happened to me, then, it would change my whole perspective. But what I got right now and what I've seen from other people doesn't show anything like that. But people love to use that paranormal side when they can't explain something.
Mm-hmm. So I've
The
washed myself
footprints
in the
were
paranormal
here,
waters, and
one
it
and then they
disappeared.
disappeared.
Yep.
Where did it go? Where? I don't know. You don't know. I don't know. But he didn't jump. I don't think he jumped into a portal and just freaking disappeared. I have a hard time with that. Now you do have people who say they've seen the portals.
I've talked to 3 of them.
Okay.
It hurts it makes your brain hurt.
Um,
Like I believe it, but I don't know why. It's
I
just in
don't
there.
have evidence for that, and I don't. So for now, they're completely separate. The paranormal, ghost, spiritual, that side is over there. I don't believe in any of the quantum physics stuff at all. At all. And, I just want to stay over here in my nice little area, flesh and blood, North
Mm-hmm.
American wood ape. I don't know what you want to call it, but,
The hairy man,
something real. The hairy man. Yep.
as they call him in Alaska. Hairy man come. Go inside. Hairy man come. Eating much salmon.
Oh my God, the hairy man, the tall man, the yeti, the almost, the almasty, the skunk ape,
Yowie.
booger, wood booger, rampendek, the momo, the skookum. We could go on forever just on listing the names because every indigenous tribe had their own name for it.
How
And
freaky is that, by the way? I could talk about that for 3 hours. Like what you went through every every major tribe, and you don't not to mention Yowie.
yeah, and the Falk monster has its own name. You've got the Cherokee Devil. What was that?
Jersey Devil.
The China one, the Yaren in China.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over the world, right? Names of some hairy bipedal figure, all over. So,
I just always wonder how they can see them, but we can't. How they were so in tune. I don't know if it's the vibration of them literally always being outside and always being quiet. Maybe here we are.
everybody says the frequency rules the world,
Yep.
and
About
so
1910, they started messing with it.
could be.
Tartarian mud flood. You ever go down that one?
No.
Yeah. So the World's Fair back in the 1800s. Remember the World's Fair from like Men in Black?
Mm-hmm.
They had those big spaceships. Well, they had the World's Fair back in the 1800s, and there's all this technology. You see women with the big girdles and the umbrellas.
Mm-hmm.
They had the bustles and what I can't think. What's a girdle?
Yeah.
That makes you skinny. The bustles that makes
The
it
bustle,
wide,
the
like
one that goes
a
on the
tent.
butt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're like on these moving sidewalks. And they got all this technology, Tesla coils everywhere. Then all of a sudden, around the turn of the century, none of it. We're flying an airplane made of carpet, not of carpet, but of paper, and that's our major scientific advancement. That's what in about 1910, whenever we start taking a nosedive off the elitist. I'm starting to sound like a conspiracy guy now, which I'm not. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you what interests me. I am, but I'm not. I'll come right back. I'm like a yo-yo. I'll go in it and come back. I'm like a drinking bird of conspiracy. But
Yeah.
but about that time, right after Teddy Roosevelt is about the time it all started hitting the fan with the vibrations and us being this what we are now. We start forming that particular frequency, for lack of a better word, and then World War II. That speaks for itself. What happened there? It just it hit the nos like on Fast and the Furious, just straight toward it, straight into the mountain. Then, but the Tartarian mud flood said that all the structures that are here, the magnificent buildings we have, were here before, and we just took them over. And they were these giant buildings, but covered in mud. I think that's how it goes. Yeah, but like they were already here. We came into a society that was already built.
It was already here. Okay.
It's a stretch, but the Tartarian Empire is real. They just kind of expanded upon it.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Russia. It's an old Russian hidden empire. It's actually happened, but they're saying it was like a giant worldwide empire. Kind of
Yeah.
like the yeah.
I've heard of that. I've heard of, uh what was that recent, well, they have all those shows on Netflix now and all these
Mm-hmm.
documentaries about, it's, you're seeing the pyramids, but underneath the pyramids there's more pyramids
Mm-hmm.
and more,
Ancient
and
Apocalypse.
yeah, that one. I saw
Graham
that.
Hancock.
Yeah.
God, that
So
guy, I love that guy. He makes me think.
poor guy.
On Rogan,
Yeah.
him and Randall Carlson.
Mhm.
Randall Carlson's one about the ripples in the delta outside of from the flood. All the ripples like
Oh,
over in Seattle. How there's like giant mountains that look like almost like a golf course
ripples.
for no
Oh, yeah.
reason and look like water ripples. That's one of his things.
Uh, I don't know. Those, you can just go deep into those and get lost in that
Yeah,
whole
telling you.
thing. I don't know if you want to call those conspiracy as well, but um
It's less
so
conspiracy,
many.
more of just something we just don't know.
Mhm.
Kind of just like reading the evidence of what's there and just kind of coming up with something off the wall that may or may
Right.
not be catastrophic.
Yeah, well, he can rewrite history pretty much on how evolution started if he can prove all that stuff, Hancock. So,
Yeah, but then he's probably going to be Epstein for long if he comes up with anything too concrete.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because if you go, what's the word,
exactly.
pre-Clovis in our archaeology,
Mhm.
pre the first men here, you'll freak out and oh shit, what about the guy um Boneyard, Alaska, who had that 10,000 acre mining community?
Oh, that completely disappeared?
No,
That
no,
one?
no, no. This
Which
is
one?
a different one. No, this is a different one. This is
Oh,
he actually found he was a coal miner, and
uh-huh.
so he was digging into the permafrost to mine the gold, not coal, and he started smelling like roadkill. They look at it, and there's just piles and piles of compressed ice age animals,
Oh,
not fossilized, just bones.
uh-huh.
And he's got like mounds of elephant tusk or mammoth tusk and steppe buffalo skulls and all kinds of. He's got all
I
kinds of.
haven't heard
He
of that.
found.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, it is incredible. And the person that had it before knew about it like in the 20s, turn of the century, right around the time we were talking about earlier. And he sent it to New York to be in a museum. They didn't have anywhere to store it, so they throw it in the East River and no one and just disregarded it. Never to be seen or heard from again. And he had the document, like a hear ye document that they sent
Wow.
that they wrote it on back then. And he read it for the first time to Joe Rogan. And then they started a movement in East River, and people are finding this stuff in the river right now, like within the last couple of weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Like
Wow.
this giant deposit of steppe buffalo and bison skulls and
Uh-huh.
saber-toothed tigers. But he won't
Dang.
say if he found a caveman because he goes, Joe, if I say I found a caveman, they're going to come over and take it over. So I haven't found a caveman. He said, but my logo is a skull, so do with that what you will.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But I said that to say this. He found animals and rocks that weren't supposed to exist in that part of the world at that time. He found a rock from somewhere around like East Czechoslovakia up there
Oh,
that they had
jeez.
brought up that the tools the primitive guys used.
Yeah.
They were bringing them over from this shouldn't existed here 20,000 years ago at that particular level.
I think that we're going to continue to find stuff.
You think they're going
You
to tell
know,
us?
I think a Bigfoot skull is just sitting somewhere in some cave, buried somewhere.
There's some shaman's teepee.
Yeah, somewhere. It's somewhere, but who knows if
You think they'll tell us if they find it though? I mean, I've heard all these tales about them finding Bigfoot bodies after a hunter shot them, and the government just swooping in ET style, getting them up.
taking them. Yeah, there's a lot of those stories. There's not even just one. There's many. you know. So I don't know. I don't know. I can't. I'd hate to speculate and get the MIB over at my door.
The
So
black-eyed children. You have some BEKs over there. That's that site I was
Um,
working on a while ago. I was telling you about the
oh,
website I was helping to rebuild. One of the codes, some of the code I was reading was all about black-eyed kids. I'm like, what the hell are you doing on this
but
site, man?
weird.
What is this article? I don't know if you've ever seen computer code, but it's just stuff over and over and over. So
Yeah.
it's just black-eyed kids over and over and over. I'm like, what is this site about? Like, I should have dove down a little farther before I started helping you. Gonna get me molested. Some kind of government facility.
Oh man.
But then there was a story about the Smithsonian had. They said the Smithsonian had some in the basement at one time. Giants, not Bigfoot giants, but
Yeah,
Bigfoot too.
giants.
I don't know about
Yeah,
those.
they're supposed to be giants. Giants, indigenous. And then the red-haired ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But who knows what happened to them too?
I blame Genghis Khan.
Genghis.
You know, when he came over, he killed 10% enough population to reduce the carbon footprint of the world.
What?
Genghis Khan killed enough people that he reduced the carbon footprint of the world.
Oh my God! I didn't hear
They did ice samples of around that time,
that. Uh-huh.
and that period of time where he was around, the carbon was 10 times like something like 30%.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's the kind of
Crazy.
stuff that's in my head right
Yeah,
now.
but I heard like there's a lot of people who are related to him too. Still,
I imagine so. He was around the world, Genghis and his Khan
He
everywhere.
had so many kids that it just seeded that whole
Wasn't that
area.
the plot to the antagonist in Mulan? Wasn't it supposed to be Genghis Khan? Or was that just a random Chinaman?
I don't know. Could be. I don't know.
She shot that rocket at him. We had here. I was gonna pull up that while we were talking about it. That Grisha Igor.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I just wonder about people like him and
I
who
think I
else?
have it on one of my slides too.
Oh yeah,
Let's
I'm
see.
afraid I'm going to talk to him and believe him and fall in love. And tell me about your Bigfoot, Igor. Ooh, yeah.
Oops. Oh, sorry. I was gonna see if I had
Show me what you got.
there he is.
Oh yeah.
There's the lovely strands of blonde.
Yeah, that's like. Do you remember the story from the early 2000s from North Carolina with the old guy? He said he had 6 fingers on each hand and beautiful hair.
And beautiful.
And
Beautiful
whenever I saw that,
eyes.
and the radio show I listened to at the time, I don't know where you're located, but there's a show here called Rick and Bubba. I've listened to it for 20, 30 years,
Uh-huh.
close to it. And they play that as like a drop. And he had beautiful hair. This guy just sounded like he was hammered when he said it. And whenever I saw this Grisha, because they were saying when I made the joke about the Oak Ridge Boys, that was something they would say. He just looks like the Chaka Mau Mau guy come out of the woods. And he's just living up there.
That one with the dreads.
Mm-hmm. I can't think of his name. I could have told you 5 minutes ago.
I can't think of
It's
his
like
name.
this Studebaker. It's
Look
not a
at that
Studebaker. People are going
face.
to crucify
I mean,
me.
that's just, I should have done a close up on that face.
Look at the little Colonel Sanders mustache.
I know, right? It's all.
Is this dude? Is this a Bigfoot or like a Seattle hipster that just got loose? Where's his little hat?
So crazy.
He's one of them little watch caps.
Yeah. I mean, it's just horrible. It is.
Willie Lee Golden. That's who it is. I had to look it up.
Oh, Willie.
Willie. It's like Billy Gibbons too from ZZ Top.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things. But King of the Hill, Hank's cousin is Billy Gibbons, and
Oh,
then
really?
and then on the show Bones, Angela Montenegro's dad is the other Billy Gibbons guitar player. But I got them mixed up one time. I'm thinking, wait a minute, does this mean Angela Montenegro is the cousin to Hank Hill? I went down like a little rabbit hole because I didn't realize it was a different guy. Hey, Hank. God, that show's good.
So ridiculous.
Oh man, there was also a show. Let me see if I can find it. It was here I found it. It was back in the 90s. It was a show from South Alabama. They were TK and Mike. They made these parody hunting videos. It's about elk hunting.
Uh-huh.
And they went out west. Yeah, it's okay if you don't. It means you're normal. But they're from Opelika, Alabama, where Auburn is, Auburn University.
Oompa Loompa? What did you say?
Yep. Opelika. I'll pronounce it like I'll pronounce Opelika.
I almost did my Oompa Loompa sound on you.
You know where you can do it. Oompa.
Oompa, where is it?
I'll never hear it. From now on, I'm calling Opelika Oompa Loompa. But yeah, that's where it's right across the Alabama state line from Fort Benning, the Army base, okay. Columbus, Georgia. Irrelevant. Anyway, they do a thing where they went to they went out and shot a elk hunting parody, and there's a Bigfoot in it.
Oh yeah, I hate that costume too.
Yeah,
that's the worst.
This is before Amazon, so God knows where they got it. But they did a thing to where they were elk hunting, and Bigfoot walked up and he shot it, and so they opened up a Bigfoot guide service. It was fine. I got me a Bigfoot.
Man, there's a lot of people out there that I shot a Bigfoot. I had a Bigfoot. They came and took it away.
I'm a no kill guy. I used to be a kill guy for a little while, but I'm a no kill. I can't do it.
I'm a no kill, but we just need to find one, you know.
I think I'm on your side there. Like, it's going to take that. Like, I'm just not going to do it.
Just one. That's all.
I can't imagine the repercussions from them if you were to shoot one.
There's more. There's going to be more. I mean, and I also think there's not a huge population. I think there's just enough to keep the species alive, just enough, you know. But there are people who say that there's thousands and thousands and, you know, hundreds of thousands of these creatures out there. I just think we would see them more if there were that many. And so I don't know.
Have you ever met the biologist Wild Trees?
Trees?
Yeah, he's a biologist. He used to be. I was his co-host. He was my co-host. We just go back and forth. Like, if he does a show, I'll go on there with him. He was on an old show called Black Lotus a few years ago.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I didn't know. It's neither here nor there. But he's a biologist in the truest sense of the world, like in the word. Like, if there was anybody in this world I would put my chips on to discover Bigfoot, it would be him. Just from his, he's a. I think he's got a master's in biology, not quite a PhD, but he goes outside the box and thinks like a Bigfoot researcher plus a biologist. So it's not, he acknowledges that maybe you're dealing with a person that's hairy that lives in the woods. That's not going to fall for a trick like like trying to get a deer to eat out of your hand. And so he's always talking to our buddy Randy Bauer up in Minnesota, who you need to get on. And I may hook you up with him. You need to talk to him because this is one of those guys that'll make your skin crawl. It'll make your skin crawl because you believe him. And he's in Panama City right now. He's coming through my hometown. He thought he was going to meet me. I would love to. But anyway, he was like, we're talking to Randy because Randy trusts his population on his place, so he doesn't want to try to trick them.
Minnesota, isn't that where Abe Del Rio's at?
I think so. He was the one. His farm is the place that Mike Quast wrote the High Strangeness Minnesota Bigfoot. If you've ever heard of that book at all.
I have
But
heard of that.
yeah, Mike. I had Mike Quast on mine. His book that he wrote is about Randy Bauer's farm.
Mm.
They're good guys. Mike's kind of quiet, but you get him talking. Good luck shutting him up. He's like a diesel engine. When he gets warm, it's over. Forget about it. It doesn't even have to be Bigfoot. He could talk about donuts. But what was I saying? Yeah, Randy really trusts. He's gained the trust of his population, and he can go out there. And he always makes fun of himself. He says he'll walk out there and he'll say, hey guys, it's Randy. He'll ask him like a favor. He goes, I'm gonna put this, of course, peanut butter. I'm gonna put this peanut butter over here, and you arrange the lids in. I don't know if he told them to arrange the lids by color, but they did, like 6 or 8 peanut butter lids, Jiffy, and they're red, blue. And sure enough, they arranged them as far as he told us. You know how that goes. But we're Wild Trees is trying to get Randy to remove that. Get Randy to get a hair sample without having to trick them, because he was going to get a big box. He's going to get like a box, like a tripod came in, just long, bigger, maybe 6-8 inches on each side, and put duct tape in it, and get and say there's stuff in here to eat. If you reach down and leave some hair, pull it out. That was his attempt to maybe try to get some hair without having to trick him. Because the last thing, Randy wouldn't do anything to trick him. Heck, he even made a deal with him. He wouldn't put cameras out there.
So he's just talking
convenient
with them.
and stuff happens. He'll say he wants to, but he gets the, like I said, the Bigfoot mind fuckery a lot. He'll end up lost on his property, thinking he's in one place and he'll be in another.
Huh.
And it not just happened to him. It's not just when he's by himself, because I'd be like, well, he's 60 years old. Maybe, he's got something going on, but he'll be with like a couple of people and it'll happen. And they'll both end up thinking they're over here, and they walk around half an hour and to be in the same spot. He gets really emotional when we talk about that. The mind, they haven't done mind speak, but they have messed with his mind mentally.
And he has his own group up there, or is he just solo?
You talking about Bigfoot?
Bauer.
Oh no, he lives with his wife, just in a house.
Okay, but he doesn't have like a Bigfoot group, does he?
No. He's got a page on Facebook that he uploads some of his stuff, but it's not like somebody trying to blob squatch you to death. Okay. Now he will post some stuff if he gets evidence that he thinks he'll post it, but it's not malicious. A lot of hair on his barbed wire fence.
Okay. And then Wild Tree, and that's the name he goes by?
No. Wild Trees is a biologist. He lives in Texas.
He's a biologist.
We were just talking to Randy about it. We just said, like we're doing here. We would talk to Randy for like a couple hours and brainstorm ways to not trick it. And what'll freak you out when we're sitting there talking and we're getting a little too deep, like Randy's connection will drop. When we start getting, I don't want to go woo-woo on you. But one time, the worst connection I ever had was the first time we did a podcast with Randy. My stuff dropped here. And it never drops, ever. I had to reboot my stuff 3 times.
Wow.
And then one time Randy's like, he goes, I'll try. He goes, hey guys, is there any way you can give me evidence that you're here? Let me know. And then 10 seconds later, his video froze. And he had to reboot his laptop. Look, anecdotal. I love it. This is all free to the public, so don't cancel me. Whenever I talk to him, he's like, he's not making any money off of it. He's travels, and he's an audiovisual man for Carrie Underwood, and different bands like that. He's in Panama City playing at Tootsie's right now. But I would really like for you to talk with him, and if you want me to come on with him and break the ice,
I wouldn't be doing the interview. I'd probably get somebody else. I have some really good connections, but I don't really do my interviews. All stem around the hoaxing, so I don't. The regular encounter Remember, I don't do encounters. If I
Okay.
have encounter stories, it's because it links to something I'm talking about in regards to hoaxing. But let me tell you, I don't know if you've heard of Pine Island Research. That's Jeff Harding. He has the perfect place to do that type of
Mm-hmm.
interview. He has his
Old,
own channel, and he also is part of the Untold Network.
say Pine Island.
Yeah, Pine Island Research.
Oh, okay. I bet I'm subscribed.
What he's part. If you look up Untold, oh my God, Untold. Now I can't remember the whole thing. Untold Radio. I was going to say something else. He's part of that network with Doug Hychek, the guy from Monster Quest.
Yeah.
So,
Doug's been to Randy's farm.
oh well, there you
He
go.
put cameras out there.
Oh, I think I know who that is now.
But I
Yeah,
don't
then
think
Jeff
he's.
already knows about him.
Yeah, I bet he does. Randy's kind of like softly coming on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's weird because I don't know if I wasn't the first podcast he was on, to be honest. But he's been on like but Doug Hychecks came out there and put cameras on, but he never was on a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody wanted to camera up his whole property. He's like, not doing that.
Mm. It seems like I've heard that before, so it's probably the same guy that Jeff
No.
already knows.
Now that's probably entirely true. Because if he knows Doug Hycheck,
Mm-hmm.
then he definitely probably knows Randy. Yeah, Randy is just it reminds me because I'm from Alabama, but my grandpa and grandma are from Southern Indiana. And he just reminds me of my relatives. Like I can sit and listen to him, and he'll think of something and tell a story, and he'll think of the next thing and tell the story. He goes, "Oh, before I let you go," I'm like, "Dude, I got to go to bed." Someone's worked for a living, Randy. All of a sudden I'm Dwight Yoakam from Sling Blade. We got no band, Randy. Yeah, he's a hoot and a half. And Wild Trees, like I said, he wants to establish a relationship with him to get things going, which would be a
Mm-hmm.
body. Is his ultimate goal. And he thinks if he can gift up to the point of trusting him, maybe to the point of how Igor is allegedly,
Mm-hmm.
maybe he like if one dies of natural causes, whatever kills them,
Right.
maybe like just bring one, sacrifice but apparently they don't want to be found. They don't mind giving you hair, they don't mind giving you a footprint, but a picture, forget about it.
We don't have something to compare it to, though.
Nope.
It's not really. Doesn't really matter.
And it all comes back human whenever it does happen.
Yeah.
See, Wild Trees actually has access to electron microscope, and so he was going to actually go in there and do like real stuff with it.
Uh-huh.
But
That's good.
he can't get anyone to send him hair.
Mm.
This was on Randy's place. On a game camera.
Uh-huh.
And we've tried to make it be a bear so hard it hurts. I've tried to make it a bear. I tried to make it a bear so hard I've said it was a bear. I don't see bear.
I don't see bear.
But if you watch Patty, she's got these ridges too. I don't know where you stand on Patty, which is okay either way.
I'm about 80-20 on Patty.
You know what'll bring you over to the fence on Patty? Have you ever seen Nope?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Nope. You said nope.
Nope.
That Jordan Peele movie about the alien. You could only that ruined electronics. Couldn't get a picture of it, and so the scientists had to build a camera all out of mechanized stuff, spring loaded.
Mm-hmm.
And it hit me after I watched Nope. Wait a minute, the Patterson Gimlin camera was the same thing, no electronics.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since then, that kind of an epiphany for me. So I got like 10% more towards being real after that, but I don't know. I go back and forth.
Actually, if you check out Central Florida Bigfoot's Matt Larson, he bought a camera like the one used on the P&G, and he's been doing experiments with it, and he's got a different idea about the whole thing. Kind of makes me think that it's less real now.
Oh, ruining it.
Yeah.
Matt Larson.
So yeah, he says there's no way. According to his findings with the camera, but he's still working on things, and he hasn't made a lot of things public, so we look forward to that.
Well, just so you know, you should probably watch Nope. It's good. It's on Amazon.
Okay. I'm going to write it down. I've been writing down notes over here. So
yeah, I'm full of useless information. You'd like it. It's a Jordan Peele movie.
On Netflix. Okay.
It's Amazon.
That looks like a stuffed pig. It really does. It looks like like a pig you put on the grill, and it's kind of lost its hair.
Hang on, I just did that. The elbow's there. Really get you.
What elbow? Where are you seeing a freaking elbow?
Right here.
Elbow where?
No, elbow there and an elbow there.
Nope. So what you're saying is this thing is walking away from the camera?
Yeah, backwards, back.
Okay.
But this is one of the cameras that it got a hand on it. I got some more stuff from them too. Let me see if I can find it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
interesting, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you're perfectly fine. What one thing that frustrated me, and I hope he's not watching this. He's gonna hate me. I'm not bad mouthing you, Randy. I'm just showing you discrepancies because I really do think that if there's any evidence in the world, that picture I just showed you may be it. Let me pull this in front where I can see it. Need to play some Jeopardy music. Randy sent me a bunch of Jeopardy stuff. I forgot you had that. Nah. Oh gosh, that's intimidating. Now I gotta work fast.
I got 14 seconds, 12 seconds, 11 seconds.
Now I gotta lock in my answer. Where is that picture? If I can't find it, I'm not going to show you the other one because I don't even want to pull that out. But
okay, you didn't make it.
Yeah. I need to check my lifeline. But he had one. Oh, my baby's crying. That's fine. He had one, and it was a game camera. Like I said, and he's 60 years old and lived in the woods of Minnesota and actively deer hunts.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's because I've deer hunted my whole life too, other than the last couple of years. And I've also been very technical and an IT person for almost 3/4 of my life. And he sent me a picture of a deer that was jumping in front of a game camera and said it was like circling stuff. I'm like, Randy, no. He goes, that's not a deer. I'm like, man, it's a deer. But that's like the worst he did, and I could see it being misconstrued. Maybe if you had wishful eyes, I'm thinking that's not even. I'm like, it's a deer. You're looking at a deer. A little kid at a petting zoo could tell that was a deer jumping, and the camera just caught a little bit of it. And I can't find that picture. I probably deleted it out of rage. But I was. And you know how when you're not mad at your kids, you're just disappointed. It was.
Oh yeah.
It was that feeling. It was like, Randy, you know, like it's first of all, but it's like, it's a deer's head and its body, like a centaur. And you didn't see anything past maybe its shoulder, and so it had this shape that was.
Yeah.
And so he's like circling it. Is that a Bigfoot? I'm like, it's a deer head. Because halfway down the page is the other part of the deer that didn't jump out of the frame. And it's frustrating. I'm not going to rag on Randy anymore because
there's a lot of stuff. Trail cam that can get misconstrued.
I think that those being in existence are a detriment to the entire Bigfoot industry because everybody's whole thing is there's trail cams everywhere, no pictures. And I'm like, well, the people I've talked to make perfect sense because they can mess up a trail cam or they can sense them. Even a deer can sense a trail cam. An alleged beast that can hide itself in plain daylight can definitely sense one.
Something's going on. Why haven't we not captured a trail cam photo? And the technology's getting better. It's not like it's getting worse. And now, it'll come shoot right up onto your phone if you've got the whole kit and caboodle, the whole,
Where are you on Skinwalker?
I think it's I grew up in northern Arizona, so I was just, hop skipping away from the reservation, and it was a big deal. It's a big deal.
The ranch or like the actual cryptid? I was talking about the ranch.
The real thing,
Yeah.
Skinwalkers. Yeah, was always a big deal. Yeah. So
okay, where are you at on those? That's
I mean, it's kind of legend, but they really believe in that stuff, but that kind of ties into the whole spiritual paranormal side for me. So I haven't really delved too much into it other than I grew up hearing about it. So, I mean, it was always used as a reason why,
you don't go outside after dark.
Dead, and I don't go out after dark. No, I do not.
So
but the ranch is
the ranch.
Crazy. I don't think there's a whole lot to that. I think that got media bombarded it.
Here's our deer. Here's our Bigfoot. I mean,
what the heck?
It's a deer. It's a jumping doe. There's its tail. It's white.
Yo, yeah, for sure.
I just can't. He's gonna never talk to me again.
Well, it's not the right shape for a Bigfoot anyway.
It was this picture here. It was this part here that he was, or that part there. See the see that spot? Maybe it could be an arm and a head. That's what he was.
Oh,
like that's a deer. That's a deer ear moving at deer speed.
Right.
That's
what I see.
I mean, it's clearly
the hump on that back is just really.
I mean, it didn't take me but a second. But the rest of his stuff, he's got TPs. He's got he's a good fella. Better stop sharing screen. But here's I guess we'll wrap it up. Here's my final thought and why that I go like I'm willing to fall backwards into the waters of woo woo when it comes to the Sasquatch. Is because there's no evidence. I mean, I got my basket of Sasquatch. I'm taking everything with me until something proves not useful.
Yeah, well, that's all you can do, I just think some people shouldn't be sharing stuff.
Oh,
go out there, take your pictures. All the pictures of the stick structures and glyphs. Oh my god, I hate when people show glyphs. Please,
you sound like me,
but go ahead, collect it all. I don't care. Don't post it and think that we're not going to scrutinize it or judge it or whatever.
It's our duty to do that. We have to.
You made it public, and that's that. Because I'm sorry, you can post whatever you want behind a private group. 200 people are going to grab, screen share that, and go share it in other places. That's what happens. So, don't think that you're on a private place posting stuff in a group that has 12,000 people. Not going to happen.
They're going to tear it apart if it's not.
Yeah.
And it's never going to be
group to group to group. And then it loses, everything. It loses all credibility. It loses, the storylines change. People make up their own crap about it. And
it's always a different southern state they saw it in.
Yeah, exactly.
This was in a feeder in South Texas.
Right.
Near the Alabama, near the Louisiana line. Now the one that was ripping the limbs out of the tree in Louisiana was a good one. I can't think of its name, the guy's name, but it was probably proven a hoax too. No one.
Oh, there's so many.
And that was one of the bigger ones lately. Kind of sad that the lake one was debunked, which I'm glad it is because I'll take debunked over wondering if it was real any day, to be honest, because it just clears out the mess and get rid of the trash.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Even if you do debunk it, there's still people out there who won't believe it. So
yeah, I'm like I said, I'm on the fence about the Patterson thing too. So I don't care either way. But the fact that he was a con man says a lot. Everybody glosses over that part.
Yeah.
This guy's got. He bought a camera with stolen money on a bounce check and happened to see a Bigfoot his first 15 minutes in there. Like I said, I want to believe. So I got this sticker here. Believe.
Yeah.
But Randy said he saw a portal open up with two walk out of it. So what do you do?
What?
Oh yeah, he and his friend were in a tree stand.
No, I wouldn't. Sorry, I wouldn't have him on my show.
But like
he a big zero.
Yeah, it's crazy because he goes back and forth and like.
I'm not saying that it didn't happen for him. I'm just saying I don't do that. I don't prescribe to that. But there are a lot of channels who do. He can find a place in the Bigfoot community.
Oh yeah, he's got a place. Sure. He'll be on TV before you know it.
Yeah,
I told him. I said, if you go on Rogan, we made a pact. If you go on Rogan, you take me with you.
Your channel will blow up.
He better freaking remember me. I will lose my job that day. So help me God. He said he saw him a portal open up in the woods. Him and his friend Mike Quast, I think, was the author, and it opened up and two orbs came out and he started hearing crunchy and the orbs turned into Bigfoot.
Oh my goodness.
See what we got to deal with? See, how do you feel right now? This guy's 100% not lying. Whether that happened or not, he's 100. That's see, I look on your face. It's me. First time I heard it, I'm like, wait, what?
No.
Hey, I'll slurp it up.
It's okay. They can believe what they want. I don't prescribe to that, but it's okay. There's no proof either way. I'm sure he doesn't have to.
No, it's a fun pool to swim in. If you can like let go
insane.
Yeah. If you can let go and let that woo take you over, that's when I have to look at myself.
That's not gonna happen.
Like you really? I look at myself sometimes. I'll tell it at work. I'll talk about it, and my boss will be like, "Wait, what?" Like, sorry, I've been kind of outside of the universe for a couple of hours. I do a serious job, and I come home and talk about this stuff for hours every other night. I like it. It's like a drug to me. I'm going to do it for a living one day. As soon as I get the other 900,000 followers.
I think we've all thought that, had that moment. It's just so damn hard. They make it really hard. But if you're in a small niche, like my channels is stuff that I talk about, the stuff people don't want to talk about.
Oh yeah,
so it's glorious. A little bit harder. It's
a breath of fresh air. Your interview tonight's been a breath of fresh air. I kind of like it.
Good. Good.
I've had more than one debunker on here, and I had a better conversation than half of the alien abductees in the world. Like, yeah, that's not happening. Tell me why it's not happening. Keep going. Talk dirty to me.
Keep going. Keep going. Yeah.
That's me. That's me. That's me when I walk back out here and my adrenaline dump starts after the show. Having to come back down. Check my credit score. Well, all right. We'll wrap it up. You've been amazing. And if you ever need me to come on your show and do some stuff, I will gladly come. I love being guests.
Oh, sure. For sure. Yeah. I have a good group of panelists that come on and we just talk opinions, that's pretty much what we do. And
what nights are you on?
It's fun. I am on Friday mornings at 9 a.m. I do my Hairy Man Hijinks show. That is a 1 hour general topic show. Okay, that doesn't necessarily have to do with Bigfoot. My primary show is Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard.
6 Central.
6 Central. Yep.
I may have to wedge myself into that an hour before my show or something. Because I love being on shows. Like it's more fun than doing my own.
Yeah, it is, and that's how you get known.
Toss softballs at people. Just throw out random comments. I don't care if it loses in followers. I can just say what I want.
Well, for sure. Be prepared. I'll shoot you over a link at some point last minute. Come on the show. Come on.
Yeah, that's right about the time I may be home of a Sunday afternoon too, so I'll make it do it. So yeah, if you ever need anything, let me know. I'll respond whether I can or not.
Okay. Awesome. Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks everybody for watching. I don't know when this is going to air, but it's going to be soon. In 2 weeks, first week of April, I'm going to 2 shows a week myself. So I'm nervous, and that's why I'm piling these episodes on like ham slices on a sandwich. All right, Nikki, appreciate it. You've been amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
As I anticipated. See ya.